What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Big Cool coming to you from Colossal Sports TV, and I am back with a highly educated panel. I'm gonna let these fellas introduce themselves. First up, we'll start off with the old ass Cuban. Bo, man, tell them about yourself.
This motherfucker, this dude right here. The old. You said
Old
you was
ass
start off.
Cuban.
Well, you know what though? I guess it is. I guess you're supposed to start off with the best first, then work your way up to the last. So, but yeah, man. Bo, Truth and Fact Sports Talk, man. We talk boxing, we talk other sports. Also, writer for Three Kings, boxing, man. And man, I'm just glad to be on here with you, man. You know, you one of the lead journalists at Three Kings Boxing, man. I'm just glad to be on here with you talking this sports, man.
And I'm gonna pull a 2K, the lead journalist.
Okay. Then, hold on, wait a minute. You know what? You're right. I'm sorry. Let me introduce myself properly. Writer slash director of public relations for Three Kings Boxing.
Touche, nigga, touche. All right, 2K. Go ahead and let us know about you, man.
Oh man, great panel, man. Of course, I'm always glad to be here with the fellas. You guys know me from Prodigy Boxing Talk, but I'm also the owner of ThreeKingsBoxing.com, where we always get the latest and greatest in boxing news, not just in America, not just in UK, but the whole damn world. We are all over the place, women's and men's boxing. If you haven't already, go ahead and check the page out. Check out my man Bo's interview with the beautiful, luscious Hannah Gabriels that he did with her. And also go ahead and check out everything that we have, all the content we have up there. Pretty much my guy Jarrell is the lead journalist. He has the most content out there on the particular website. So don't hesitate to go over there and get everything you need. And as of right now, before you do that, let's go ahead and tune in on what we got to say.
Hold on, wait a minute. Before we get started, there's just a little something that I just have to play here. Hold on.
Don't give me copyrighting, motherfucker.
No,
Look, my man wasn't even ready.
How you like me now?
This is for my man 2K.
I know what that means. I know what that means.
Hey, before we get started, my boy from the Boxing Clinic and more, man, my homie from way back, CJ Goodfellow, join us. Tell him a little bit about yourself. I just did it, but shit, introduce yourself to the fellas, man.
Oh, what's going on? My bad. What's going on, family? Y'all live yet?
Yeah, we all live. We live.
Yeah, we live, man.
Oh, y'all know what it is. One time for the one time, your boy CJ Goodfellow. Shout out to the whole panel. Y'all know what the business is.
All right, man. We gonna be talking about if boxing is turned into the WWE. We're gonna be talking about Bob Arum's comments towards Joshua-Povetkin, calling it small potatoes compared to Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder that's expected to happen later this year. And we're going to finish off with a very interesting topic. Who do y'all fellas see as the next cash cow? But first up, we're going to talk about these theatrics we be getting lately in the sport of boxing. I'm going to start with Bo. Go ahead. Because we seen how Danny Garcia and Sean Porter kind of came about when he hopped in the ring after Garcia knocked out Rios. And we seen Wilder and Fury do that fake WWE skit at the weigh-in and shit. So what are your thoughts on this, man? Do you like the way it's going towards with the whole build-up, or do you think the fight just need to be signed, sealed, and officially delivered before we start all this nonsense?
I think two things we have to take in consideration. We have to take in the times that we live in, and then we have to take in consideration that the sport that we're talking about. The times that we live in now is a relatively different time. We live in a time where you can reach a lot more people through things like social media. You have to figure out ways to draw people into wanting to watch you fight for whatever the reason is, whether it's a rivalry fight, whether it's a fight where there is the ideal chance of you might losing just because one guy has a punch and another guy is skillful. So we have to take it, and then drama. I mean, we just happen to live in a time where the age of reality TV and drama has played a really big part into our environment. Then we have to take into account the sport we're talking about. Boxing is a self-promoting sport. Boxing does not have contracts like NFL, the NBA, and baseball, where they promote the sport constantly and continuously. You even have certain sports like football that have their own channel FS1 has solely a program solely for football. Hell, even the UFC have their own little segment on ESPN. So boxing is a self-promoting sport. So if these guys have to promote themselves to get you to come watch them, to get you to want to find out who they are, and then even if you know the history of boxing, this was the way Muhammad Ali, with his braggadocious and boisterous style, this is what people gravitated toward watching him. And he would always say, whether you pay to watch me win or whether you pay to watch me lose, you're gonna pay to watch me. And that's really the point we have to look at. So do I personally have a problem with it? Of course I don't have a problem with it, because these men have to figure out ways to promote themselves in a sport where its fans are so fickle they will turn on you in a heartbeat. So no, I don't necessarily have a problem with it all, with what they're doing and using the WWE style, because speaking of WWE, you're talking about something that is generated billions of dollars off fake fighting.
Exactly.
Okay. So I have no problem with it all, period. And then, let's just call it, you know what, man, let's just keep it a buck. You have fighters that, regardless of what they do, always going to be questions about them. Sometimes will not get the respect that they deserve. So why not promote yourself and continue to promote yourself? Because at the end of the day, it is called prize fighting. But at the end of the day, when these fighters are done from the sport of boxing and the cheers are going and the whispers are going and the interest in you is going, they still have to figure out a way to survive. So if they got to do what they got to do to make sure, hey, they're planning for the afterlife, I have no problem with that at all, man.
All right, before I get to the rest of the panel, I don't have a problem with what you just broke down. You said it well. My problem is, we know a lot of these fighters don't have intentions to make that fight happen right away or in the next 6 months. So we end up with this 2-year-long build-up. That's my problem, because if you're going to always have these altercations, I'm using air quotations, then what's the need? If you just what's the need in prolonging a fight that's already in the forefront of all boxing fans and pundits' mind? We want the fight. Sometimes the fight is not going to get any bigger than what a fighter may think. So 2K, what is your thoughts on that in terms of having all these theatrics when it know damn well it's not going to lead to an actual fight anytime soon? That's my problem with it.
Well, my problem is not necessarily the theatrics. My problem is the motherfucking marination period that a lot of these promoters try to put on particular fights. Like, for example, Eddie Hearn on Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. You got Golden Boy on Canelo and Triple G. The marination period, they're going to marinate it until the motherfucker's a bit overcooked. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem I have. But as far as the theatrics, listen, as long as these motherfuckers fight, I don't care. We could end up having, WWE situations like Sugar Ray Leonard and Aaron Pryor, and then there's no fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? Them cats had WWE situations multiple times on multiple occasions to the point where fans thought there was going to be a fight, but it never happened, right? So as long as that shit isn't happening, I don't care. If the fight actually goes down, that's cool. I don't care about the theatrics. Also, in terms of the WWE and how they generate billions off of fake fighting, again, if they're going to use that particular format, that's fine, as long as these two motherfuckers, when they actually get in the ring, they're actually fighting. We're not seeing no fake-ass shit like Mike Tyson versus Bruce Seldon. You know what I'm saying? We're actually seeing an actual fight where two cats are competing to try to win. As long as that happens, I can care less about the theatrics, man.
All right. CJ, what are your thoughts on it, man?
Oh, yeah. I don't really get mad. Hold on, give me 1 second.
All right. Well, like I said, man, I don't like the shit if it ain't gonna lead to a fight. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I agree with y'all. It is entertaining. It is fun.
Yeah, my bad, bro.
All right,
I wasn't trying to compromise your stream because of that music playing, but yeah, I don't got a problem with it. I mean, the difference is WWE, they build up and they fake fights. They big fake fights actually happen. You know what I'm saying? And boxing's all about marinate. For example, like when Danny Jacobs pulled up on Jamal Charlo, everybody just focused on, I'm touching M's. Well, nobody paid attention to say, when Jamal said, you drop your guy, which was Selecki, and I'll drop Hugo Centennial Jr., and we can fight next. Nobody paid attention to that. They just paid attention to Danny Jacobs. Ooh. At the end of the day, man, Danny Jacobs had no intentions on fighting Jamal Charlo. Eddie Hearn said he wasn't interested in the fight several times. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I don't have no problem with people promoting themselves. I think it's a lack of WWE promotion in boxing now. You know, I really do. I think like Bud is a bland personality guy. Earl Spence is bland. Danny Garcia is bland. Sean is bland. It's a lot of bland personalities. So you should think they should want to put their skills on display. So people say, I want to see that guy fight next again. I want to see that guy fight again. It's a lot of guys who don't even have that skill. Adrian Broner is able to really avoid not having the Dante O no more. He's able to swerve around that and keep getting his ass kicked, and people keep wanting to see him fight again. It's because, you know, he got the mouthpiece. Game down pat. He don't have the Floyd talent, but he got the Floyd S type of you know, character to build around that, man. When you talk about Bud Crawford, he needed a PR team because he suck at talking to the media. He sucks at everything when you talk about outside the boxing ring. He might be the truth inside the square circle, but outside the square circle, I do not like what he be saying, bro. Like, he don't have no build up. Yes, dog. He answered questions the wrong way. Like the Floyd hype people. They asked him like, yeah, you and Earl got the pound that most people see that's the pound for pound best fight in boxing. Well, you know, it could be the pound for pound fight, but you never know when you get in the ring. I was just looking like, bro, you folks like, yeah, man, that's the pound for pound fight. That's the fight that I want. You want to say I'm gonna whoop him up, and I want y'all to pay to go see it. He just like, man.
This is about Vasily Lomachenko.
No. He was asked about Earl. You know, fighting Earl. Was him and Earl the best fight in boxing right now?
Gotcha.
And he said, and the guy was like, yeah. But at the end of the day, he don't have no. A lot of guys don't have the personality no more, man. They don't have it, man. But you know, Tank is using Broner to be his personality. That's what he's doing. You know, he using Broner to be his personality. But like I said, man, ultimately you got hands, you don't. It's good that guys want to step out their truth or be their characters and let the fans see, you know, how you live. Like Teofimo Lopez, he might take a lot of junk, but he brings excitement, you know, to the game. You know what I'm saying? He want to fight everybody, even though it may be too soon for him. I like it, but as long as the fight go down, I don't want to wait 2-3 years of watching tune-ups after tune-ups before I can get a fight that I should have got years ago. That's my only problem, but I like the build-up, though.
Yeah.
All right, 2K, you got anything to say to that? Or?
No, it's really – I agree. I halfway agree. I think Terrence Crawford has talked a lot of shit about Errol Spence in the media, all over the media, actually. And I think it got to a situation with him is that, you know, look, man, either the fight's going to get made or it's not going to get made. So now he's tired of talking. See, Terrence Crawford is still a nigga that's in the trap. He's still a hood nigga, man. And if you understand how a lot of hood cats think, man, we're not really all about that talking. It's really about what type of action we about to get into. And that's he even told
I feel you on that about the action, but at some point
hold on. So you're gonna finish real quick.
He told that about to Jose Benavidez as well. He said, hey, man, you know, I'm not all about that talking. We either going to fight or we not. And this is a guy that he could have easily talked shit to, and everybody would have jumped on Terrence Crawford's side. But, I mean, he just kind of was like, hey, you know, fuck it. And then the whole thing about Daniel Jacobs and Jamal Charlo, Daniel Jacobs is at a point in time where it's like, hey, man, I'm all about that money. Trust, I used to murder Daniel Jacobs for saying that, you know, he's the number 2 guy at middleweight behind Gennady Golovkin before they actually fought. I used to murder Daniel Jacobs for saying he wants $10 trillion to get in the ring with Gennady Golovkin. I always used to think that he didn't want to fight a Gennady Golovkin, that he was scared. But, you know, eventually what it was for him, it was about money. And as soon as that money looked right, he got in the ring with the guy and actually beat him, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Jamal Charlo, he's actually saying what he's really believing in when he says, I'm touching them M's, because he's getting more money than Jamal Charlo does right now. Jamal Charlo fight is not going to get him the kind of money that he's already seen against a Gennady Golovkin. And granted, of course, he fought Luis Cuba Arias, but that's less of a risk, you know, than getting in the ring with a Jamal Charlo. So I don't think it's too much that he doesn't want to fight Jamal. I do think there is some risk there that my man mentioned that I do believe that he's got his head on, but I don't think he's shook of Jamal Charlo, man, by any means necessary. I just think he doesn't think he's going to get the money out of it.
All right, CJ, go ahead and with your reply.
I'm not saying that old boy ain't, you know, gangster. None. At the end of the day, it's business though.
Yeah.
You know, it's business, dog. It's learn how to talk and how to manipulate the media and how to talk to the media. At the end of the day, that street shit is over with for him. He could be in the trap and be content what he doing. He could be content doing that. I don't have an issue with it. But it's about how you spin it. If y'all talking about Y'all want this to be a pay-per-view fight versus Earl? Well, you got to have some enthusiasm and know how to answer questions. If Bob Arum gonna pay for him to, or eventually wants him to fight old boy, then you're gonna have to get him some PR lessons. Same thing for Al Heyman team.
Yeah.
There's no way that Angel Garcia should be going around here calling people Kenny and Sean monkeys and just talking any type of way. There's no way that Adrian Broner should be talking about burritos and Mexicans and all that. No, man, it's no way that them dudes should be saying that, man. But as far as Danny Jacobs, I don't think he's scared. I definitely don't think he's scared until I heard the interview that he did with Andre Ward on the Fight Game, where he say that I really wasn't calling out Triple G. I wasn't really serious. I didn't think he really was gonna take the fight. You know, he said I just thought I was just playing bullshitting around with him. So I don't think Danny's scared. I'm a big Danny Jacobs fan. I'm going to Jacobs and Derevchenko. But I'm just saying at the end of the day, it does make sense for him to go ahead and now. You know, Danny is 32 years old, 31 years old. It makes sense now. You know what I'm saying? If you believe you're gonna beat Jamal Charlo, trust me, once these guys start beating each other, they're gonna start touching that real money. They're gonna be a little bit closer to getting what Pacquiao was getting or what Mayweather was doing. I'm not saying they're gonna get that, they're gonna be closer, but when they actually start fighting, you know, boxing is a risk. You know, we tired. If you're gonna fight 2 times a year, you know, you don't deserve a tune-up. You don't deserve this type of fight or Luis Arias type of fight. No, we want to see you with the cat pillars. You know what I'm saying? But I understand the business aspect of it, and
well,
I think eventually it will happen though.
You do. Hold on, Bo. You do understand that he was getting ready to possibly get a Canelo fight, right? And this is without him having to fight Jamal Charlo. That's my point.
At the time,
he's already at a point where he's going to be getting bigger fights than the Jamal Charlo possible. That's why he's saying what he's saying. Now I agree. I mean, I'm with you. I want to see that shit. You know, from a fan, I'm like, nigga, fight Jamal Charlo. But from the business aspect, I understand what he's talking about. He's already reached a part as far as the money that he's making that Jamal Charlo has not reached yet. He's already at a point where, hey, the bigger fights are getting ready to come to his table. Jamal Charlo is trying to get to that point. I understood exactly what he meant. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you saying, but at the end of the day, when Peter Nelson told him and Eddie Hearn that he wasn't going to force Jacobs and Triple G and Canelo to fight him, at the end of the day, you got to take risks, but it's going to play out because if he beat Derevchenko, get a belt, and if Triple G beat Canelo and drop the belt and he get the belt, or if Danny going to fight Billy Joe Saunders next, if he beat Andrade, they want to unify, maybe all the belts will be on the line for a Danny Jacobs and Jamal Charlo fight, and maybe in this case, Marination will work in our favor. I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's good that it didn't happen, to be honest.
Word up.
Let me jump in. Go ahead. Let me jump in right quick. Let me say something. See, this goes back to my original point of what I said about how boxing has changed. See, because back in the day, you didn't have to do a lot of talking. Your body of work spoke for itself. Roberto Duran was never a big talker, but his body of work, what he did, is the reason why we were excited to watch Sugar Ray Leonard. Same thing with Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns. These dudes were never big talkers. It was their body of work that we would look at, and that what made us excited about it. So when you look at when I was talking about how boxing has changed, it's, you know, you talk about Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence. These are dudes that have a dog mentality, which is, listen, I just want to get in the ring and get my hands on you. And they don't, you know, they're cut from that cloth. The only problem is we live in an era where people aren't looking at that. People will watch you not based off what your body work is in that ring, is based off how much you talking and how much hits and like you getting on social media. And to even go back to what you was talking about, but to Daniel Jacobs, now I'm with you. Listen, I want to see him fight that Jamal Charlo fight. But the problem is, like my man was saying, Jacobs had reached a point where he's like, look, there's other avenues that I can take that can get me this big money on the back end. I win this IBF belt that puts more value on me, that puts more stock on my name. So guess what? Now, whatever I come to the table with, you got to pay me something. Yeah. You got to take notice of me. You got to, you know, look like, if you want to make a move, you got to look my way. And like guys like Jacobs and stuff like that, they're maneuvering themselves in a different position because they've already been to that top, as to where like cats like Charlo, and even at one point, Edeslani Lara, sometimes they just got to run up on you. And you know what I'm saying, to get that name out there. So that's what I was saying about how, when you look at how boxing has changed, and you look back, you know, all these fighters I named, you know, Mike, even before Mike Tyson actually started talking, the reason why you went doing that HBO, I think it was called the HBO Don King heavyweight tournament. Mike Tyson didn't talk, but what got him famous, he was whooping everybody's ass, and that body of work is what made everybody interested in watching him. So I feel what you're saying. Hell, even I mean, I can name a lot of guys. Evander Holyfield. These dudes were never big talkers, but what made them exciting was their body of work. But that's why I was saying that times have changed since then.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say one last thing on this topic. All right, for guys like Spencer and Bud that don't talk, the 2K point, you know, being a hood nigga straight to the point, ain't that the job of the promoter to get them out there? Then you gotta know you gotta know who you're dealing with, right? So you don't gotta do that with Broner or Floyd. So you paying them to do a job.
Absolutely.
Then it falls on the feet of the promoter because they supposed to get them in. It's like coming up with being a rapper. You know what I'm saying? You gonna book. It don't matter if you rapping in front of 100 people, 500 people. If you gonna get the notoriety up, you're gonna have to put yourself out there. So I think that maybe the question needs to be for these promoters that they need to do their job. They need to, you know, really take the interest of that fighter and put them out there. But
and to your point, look at the difference between Vasily Lomachenko and Terrence Crawford at Top Rank.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Let me even add to that. Look at Deontay Wilder. You know, the biggest problem with Deontay Wilder, a lot of people say race. And, you know, we got 3, you know, brothers on here on this panel. And I'm going to sit here and tell y'all right in with y'all being on the panel, race was not the biggest factor with Deontay Wilder. It was his management team. You know what I'm saying?
With you 100%.
You got a guy that got the biggest knockout ratio in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, he's killing dudes. He's slumping cats. And you telling me you can't get this dude known outside of, you know, the 3 states that Alabama's sitting next to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Deontay Wilder decided himself, fuck it, I'll just play the villain. That's why you got him saying shit on the Breakfast Club talking about he wants a body. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got him going to the UK, you know, starting shit with Tyson Fury in front of all these UK fans. Of course, it was a WWE moment, but it was something that he relished because he understood that his promotional team is not doing what the fuck they supposed to be doing. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, just like Jarrell said, it does fall on them. But as a individual athlete or a sport where, you know, it harps on individualism. It's not a team sport. You got to market yourself as well. And I think that's what Deontay Wilder actually realized now that he's not getting that damn Joshua fight anytime soon. He said, fuck it. Let me move to the next dude and let me make sure that I'm putting my brand out there so people know that I'm serious. And he's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, I said the last thing. I think the promoter should put these fighters in a position to then the fighters or the individual can, you know, showcase their personality. So you got like a Breakfast Club, like you said, 2K, you know, whoever, whether it was him or his team, put him on there. That way he's showing the show, you know, showcasing their personality, whether you like what he said or not. So I think it kind of can work as a team if you put them in a spot and say, well, go be yourself, then it works like that. But, you know, we'll see how it plays out going forward. Hopefully all aspects improve. Next up, Bob Arum, y'all favorite promoter. He praises the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, but shits on the AJ and Povetkin fight, saying it's small potatoes compared to that. CJ, man, I'm gonna start with you. What are your thoughts, man? Do you agree with what he was saying? Pretty much that it was a great fight with Wilder and Fury, and that, you know, the UK fans can stick to getting those sorry fights over there while we get the filet mignon roof Chris fights.
Oh yeah, I agree with Scam Daddy. They call him Scam Daddy. I agree with him, man. But seriously, man, the whole UK, man, they accept trash fights, man. They do. Like Parker and Dillian White turned out to be a good fight, but that wasn't even no 10-pound type of fight, man. You know, that translates to like 20 pounds in American money. So yeah, I agree with him, man. Nobody talk about Joshua-Povetkin. You know, it ain't sold out. Remember, it was selling out 5, 10 minutes, 11 minutes. Now they changed the ticket rule on them, and it ain't selling out. You know, and Anthony Joshua's reportedly, Tyson Fury said he reportedly getting $10 million for that fight, man.
There is.
So that means he had to pay Povetkin to keep it from going to purse bids, dragging him to Russia. So he went in his pocket. So yeah, it's small potatoes, man. Bob Arum will tell you the truth when it's convenient for him. You know he will tell you the truth. He the greatest promoter of all time. You know, let's keep it real. He might be a scam, but he built two of the greatest pay-per-view stars, and Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd. You know, he built them up. So you know he always for his pockets, man. And like Floyd say, how many more fucking suits can he buy? Real talk. How many more suits? What does he have that he can't buy? His dick don't work no more. I'm pretty sure of that. He got every suit of my imaginable. Like, what else money do we want? He won't even put money up for Lomachenko. Remember, Lomachenko lost that purse bid to Gary Russell. People forget that. He went over to Showtime. You know what I'm saying? He lost the purse bid to he lost a few. Lara and Bonds Montrosian. He lost that to Golden Boy back when Lara was on there. And for Scam Daddy to beat Eddie Hearn at a purse bid, for Scam Daddy to be, he ain't got no $1 billion. I hope y'all do know that. Dude ain't got no $1 billion. Lose a purse bid. No, I'm talking about Eddie Hearn.
Oh,
he ain't got no $1 billion, dog.
No.
He ain't got no $1 billion. He ain't fooling me. He might can fool the public, but he don't. And Joshua ain't touching what Joshua's saying he touching either, though, man. He not touching that. So at the end of the day, I agree with Bob on this one. And Bob will tell you the truth. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Baby's crying in the laundry, Matt.
All right, 2K. Go ahead and give me your thoughts.
I mean, whatever Bob Arum says, you got to understand there's an agenda behind it. So, he could be probably setting himself up, trying to get Brian Jennings in there somewhere. Who knows, man? But a lot of people like to harp on. I'm gonna change the narrative just a little bit. A lot of people like to harp on, getting on Anthony Joshua's ass for fighting Alexander Povetkin, and at Three Kings Boxing, man, we tried to tell niggas a long time ago that Joshua Wilder was not happening. As soon as Andre Ryabinski spoke in April and said, "Nah, man, Wilder ain't next. It's my guy Povetkin." I already knew that fight was gonna happen. We already knew that fight was gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Andre Ryabinski is one major figure in boxing. He's like the Jay Prince in Russia, what Jay Prince is in Houston. You know what I'm saying? So whenever he speaks and whenever he wants shit to happen, it happens. I mean, look at how he even got Alexander Povetkin as the #1 contender in the WBA rankings after he was caught doping twice in a 6-month span back in 2016 and was suspended indefinitely. So, I mean, you go from being suspended indefinitely, be the #1 contender. Also, on your second drug test, you got a motherfucker waiting in the bushes named Johan Duhop is ready to fight you instead of Bermain Stavern. So, I mean, this dude is extremely powerful. So, I knew that as soon as he spoke in April, it wasn't going to happen. I also knew that, unless AJ wanted to relinquish the WBA belt and fight Deontay Wilder for only 3 belts instead of undisputed unification bout, that's the only way he was going to get around not fighting Alexander Povetkin next. And they've made it clear on both sides, Deontay Wilder and AJ, that they want that fight to be the undisputed unification match. You know what I'm saying? The next undisputed champion since Lennox Lewis in '99. That's what they want. So as long as Alexander Povetkin was there as the mandatory, that shit was going down. So I don't jump on AJ too much for that. He had no fucking choice if he wants to keep the WBA belt. You know what I'm saying? So that fight is actually a better fight than a lot of people believe. Alexander Povetkin is probably still one of the more athletic fighters at the heavyweight division. Ask Mike Pettis when he got hit with that right hook. You know what I'm saying? Ask what's his name? The tall, goofy, lanky motherfucker, David Price, that just got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? He's still one of the more athletic fighters at heavyweight. He's one of the best fighters at slipping the jab and getting inside of his opponent's long range. He's one of the best at the heavyweight division to do that. So, I mean, I wouldn't say don't sleep on Alexander Povetkin like that. You know what I mean? But when we're talking about Wilder, Tyson Fury, and this is where I agree with Bob Arum, Tyson Fury is the unofficial lineal champion. He was never beaten to lose that status. You know what I'm saying? The nigga sniffed a little bit of that white girl and lost the status. That's what happened. So if he had never done that 3 years ago, Tyson Fury probably, might have already fought in a Deontay Wilder or an AJ. You know what I'm saying? And he's either probably one of the best heavyweights to ever do it if he beat those guys, right? Or he'd be on the verge of fighting those guys just like he is now. So with him having that status, him still being an undefeated fighter, he didn't look great against Francesco Pianetta, but I know that he was just putting rounds in the tank, you know what I'm saying, to get himself prepared for Deontay Wilder. Yeah, hell yeah, this is definitely a much better fight than Alexander Povetkin AJ fight. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, he's still the unofficial lineal champion, and you got two of the biggest mouthpieces at heavyweight, so they're going to do an excellent job promoting this matchup. Absolutely, I agree 100% with Bob Arum, and it's not just because I know Bob Arum has an agenda, but it's real, it's factual when you look at it. it's common sense that it's a much better fight.
All right, Bo, go ahead and give me your thoughts on this.
Well, like my man 2K said, with Bob Arum, man, you don't ever know what his angle is. Now, as of right now, we know he don't have no, he don't necessarily have no pony in this at all, period. But what I find interesting about this whole scenario is the fact that, like my man said, you have to take into account, man, that I think what happened was everybody got so worn during the course of, I want to say July, with the whole Wilder versus potential Wilder versus Anthony Joshua matchup, that when it didn't happen and Anthony Joshua wound up fighting Alexander Povetkin, it was probably a bad hand that was played on the part of maybe Eddie Hearns and them trying to promote the fight or hype this fight between Wilder and Anthony Joshua, right? Because at the end, like 2K said, if you really been following boxing and you really been paying attention, we all knew from jump that, man, listen, he gonna wind up fighting Alexander Povetkin, right? So if you've been following it, you already knew. But for those who have already picked a side and then you didn't get what you want, and then this announcement come, okay, he gonna fight Alexander Povetkin, which again, if you have been following, Alexander Povetkin was always there in the way. Eddie Hearns even put a picture where he on Instagram where he was shaking hands saying, hey, I just met with Alexander Povetkin, promoter. Then Hearns tried to lie and say, oh, the WBA told me I got 24 hours to make this fight with Povetkin, and then the fight didn't get officially announced until like a week and a half later. Yeah. So people had actually looked at that. Then this fight with Tyson Fury and Wilder just popped out of nowhere. Like we all thought it was going to be him versus Brazili. Then he makes this fight with Tyson Fury. That just kind of dropped out of nowhere. So that just took everybody by surprise and became more interesting to everybody, especially given the fact, like my man said, was this is finally a fight to where if Deontay Wilder win, arguably you can say, well, now you got to get his man 50-50 if he fights Anthony Joshua, because he beat probably without a shadow of a doubt the best heavyweight that was out there that beat Vladimir Klitschko. So he actually, he actually beat the dude that, you pretty much, Joshua, you pretty much got his leftovers. As to where Deontay Wilder is fighting the dude that's actually considered by many as the man that beat the man. So I definitely feel I understand where Bob is going with this. Now, what his ulterior motive is, we'll see, because Brian Jennings just fought. He still got Andy Ruiz right there. So he could be looking at, well, now, because also we got to remember something too. The WBO is not recognizing this Povetkin fight as a mandatory as fighting your mandatory. Mm-hmm. It's just the WBA, because Povetkin is also highly ranked by the WBO. So there's rumor that, hey, he may have to make a WBO mandatory, otherwise he might lose that belt. So Bob could be positioning himself for, okay, they might not fight in April, so let me get on the good side over here, because if I can get Brian Jennings in there, I can get Andy Ruiz in there, because whether people want to accept this or not, fighting Deontay Wilder, it might not get you AJ money, but it still gets you money fighting any other heavyweight out here. And that's a real, like, people kind of, it makes me laugh when I hear cats say, oh, well, Deontay Wilder only got $4 million, to fight Luis Ortiz. Okay, name me any other heavyweight that's getting anything close to that then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we talking about this, like, some of y'all talking about this and saying every motherfucking boxer is walking to the bank with a $4 million check to cash. That's not happening like that. So Deontay Wilder is still, from a financial standpoint, is a damn good fight if you want a cool $1 million or $2 million. He's still a good fight for that. So
yeah, bro. Like they got $4 million to touch themselves though. Yeah. They ain't got $4 to touch, man. They got like, it's just a petty $4 million. Like, man, come on, you ain't got $4 to touch, man. They be killing me with that.
Wait a minute. I put it like this, right? You take Deontay Wilder got $4 million, right, to fight Luis Ortiz. Triple G had to leave the country to get $5. All right.
Good point.
He had to leave the country just to get $5. He's only getting 2.5. Okay. If your name is not Anthony Joshua Canelo Alvarez, then are you making $4 million to fight? I just saw Mikey Garcia fight Robert Easter Jr. Did they get $4 million? I just saw Jorge Linares fight Vasily Lomachenko. Did they get $3 million, $4 million? Combined. They purse combined didn't come to that. So, he's still one of the big fights in boxing. And if you want to promote Deontay Wilder in the way you want to promote him, this is actually a very good move, because regardless of how you feel, Tyson Fury. See, the thing about Tyson Fury and the thing about Wilder is that lure of Wilder could always lose. Tyson Fury makes fights boring, but he has to make them that way because that's how he wins. He makes them uneventful. He makes them boring. That's how he wins. And if he can fight Wilder like that and make it a boring fight, he has a very good chance of winning, because even with him being overweight, he's still a very skillful fighter. And Wilder has to rely on landing that big right hand. So it's a more intriguing fight when you look at it from the standpoint of AJ and Povetkin, because you got one guy who can literally turn the fight into a boring fight. And you got one guy that got to be able to land, that big punch, and that's always something that people's going to gravitate towards.
All right, final question, man. Just a yes or no answer from y'all. If Wilder defeats Tyson Fury, don't matter how he defeats him, does that give him right to say he won 50-50 in the next go around of the negotiation period?
I'm gonna go first and answer that. Hell motherfucking yeah, you goddamn right.
2K?
Yeah, of course, man.
CJ?
Yeah, especially if the pay-per-view blow it off the top. We gonna promote that hoe though, man. I'm telling you that right now.
All right, we finna go to the final topic, maybe, of the show. There's a lot of young talent out there that's on the rise. CJ mentioned Teofimo Lopez. We got Shakur Stevenson. You got Conlon. You got a lot of these young cats that's on the rise. Who do y'all see as the next cash cow? Not Floyd Mayweather cash cow, just the cash cow. The guy to be like, if you want some money, go fight that guy. I'm gonna start with 2K.
Man, don't start with me, man. I know way too many goddamn prospects.
All right, well, hey, all right, look, we're gonna put a limit on it. Put a limit on it, quick. Two fighters per person that y'all identify as. That's the guy that I'm gonna pay pay-per-view money, and if I was a promoter, I'm gonna sign him and promote the shit out of him. So or it could be a woman. It could be a woman too.
Okay, so this is just prospects, right?
Prospects of contenders. You know what I'm saying? Not champions, but
damn, nigga. All right.
Just do it. Not perfect. Just do what you feel. Go with what you about to say, bro. I don't want to limit this shit.
Yeah, let me move past contenders, because Canelo's still alive. You know what I'm saying? He's still, or let me say active, not alive. He's still active. So is Manny Pacquiao. Oh, yeah, Manny Pacquiao. So let me move past contenders, and make it interesting and say prospects for people that don't really know. I like Regis Prograis, to be that guy. Wow. One of those guys. Yeah, like you mentioned, Teofimo Lopez would be another one out of the women's. We could be looking at Clarissa Shields, of course. You got Chantel Cameron. I think she's going to be pretty damn big after she finally beats Katie Taylor. Man, Kosei Tanaka is about to be a major motherfucker in Japan. That's going to be – he's already there. But as soon as Kosei Tanaka gets any type of exposure in the U.S., man, that's about to be major. But the only problem is this, man. This is why I don't really like this conversation, is because cash cow can only be relegated to the divisions that people actually watch. You got a lot of these fake-ass boxing fans and self-proclaimed boxing pundits that don't go past 140. They don't go past 130. Let me say 130. Because Vasily Lomachenko's at 135 right now. So they don't go past 130. You know what I'm saying? So me mentioning a guy like Kosei Tanaka, they probably have no fucking idea who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So this is why this conversation is kind of leans on only talking about fighters that actually matter to the rest of the boxing public. You know what I'm saying? I like to get a lot of guys out there that nobody knows. But yeah, it is what it is. If we're talking about contenders, just to stay on line with what you asked. We're talking about contenders. I like shit. Well, he's a champion. I think Vasily Lomachenko will be the next cash cow without Canelo or Manny Pacquiao involved. Yeah, maybe Vasily Lomachenko, maybe Terrence Crawford, probably Errol Spence. If he defeats Terrence Crawford when they fight, Errol Spence definitely. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. It's one of them slanted questions, man, that I don't really like.
I feel you, bro. Go ahead.
I don't see nobody because of the way things are designed right now. And my man just hit it right on the head. Everything is based off of per the division nowadays, right? For example, uh, I'll give you a perfect example. He mentioned Tanaka, right? If you look at the 118-pound division, they got a tournament coming up right now.
Mm-hmm.
That is an awesome ass fucking tournament. Each one of anybody that wins that tournament should be looked at as a fucking cash cow.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because that if you look at that division and the people that's participating in that division, with the exception of maybe the one cat who hasn't had a lot of professional fights, but was a silver medalist. Outside of that, all the rest of them dudes holding belts: Ryan Burnett, Naoya Inoue, Zolani Tete, Emmanuel Rodriguez, Jason Maloney, Juan Carlos Pañana. Man, whoever come out of that division with them names, that motherfucker should be looked at as a moneymaker.
Yeah.
But because people don't look at it like that, they don't. Then I look at some of these other divisions. You know, you got even looking at the 126-pound division, you got some big names there. So I don't really think. I think because of the way streaming is being, and also because of the way streaming is being done, also, and they're streaming more fights. You got ESPN app, you got DAZN. It's slowly moving away from the pay-per-view thing. So it's going to be hard, in my honest opinion, for anybody to be looked at as the cash cow. I think it's going to be looked at as, okay, what fight's going to make us the most money? Looking at per matchup, you might get something like that. But boxing is slowly moving away from the, that type of thing where you'll have that one big time cash cow that, hey, fighting him will get you that would get you that big amount of money. I believe around sometime like after 2020, we'll be in this. I mean, Alexander Usyk, we should be talking about this guy as a money maker. Absolutely. The dude just won a tournament with, again, if you pay attention to the cruiserweight tournament, there were some fucking names in that tournament.
Not only did he win a tournament, this motherfucker is the second undisputed champion we've had in a year. Before that, it'd been 11 years.
And did it in dominating fashion.
Exactly. Nobody talking about him now.
Yeah. So yeah, I truly believe that there's nobody, in my honest opinion, just because of what I've been seeing, that I can look at and say it's going to be a future cash cow down the line. I think you can look at somebody and say, hey, per matchup, per division, and that's what it's turning into. Because like my man just said, hell, the light heavyweight division, Aleda Alvarez just lit the light heavyweight division on fucking fire. Nobody even talking about the possibility of Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, that motherfucker, Alexander Gavasik, or that motherfucker holding that trinket belt. You know what I'm saying? He over there babysitting that belt. Then you got, he about to. Then you got the challenges. You got, Muret, Joe Smith Jr. is still right there. You got Brownie right there. You got Jack right there. Anthony Yarde, whenever Frank Warren feels he's brave enough to make him fight some goddamn body, So I just don't believe you can say it. And then of course you look at how these sanctioning bodies are doing shit with these ranking systems, also kind of deteriorate from it, because you'll have a guy you might want to see fight somebody, but because of the way the sanction body is, he may have to fight this dude who's like, yo man, who the fuck is this guy? So that's just me.
All right, CJ, you got anybody on your list that you think will be a cash cow?
Yeah, I want to address a few things they said, man. About the Anthony Yard situation, man. He ain't got no amateur fights, man, so he can take as long as he want to. But by the time
I disagree. I'm gonna tell you.
Go ahead. I want to hear his perspective on that.
I tell you why. He's ranked number 1.
Absolutely.
So you number 1. So both the WBO, the WBO European title and the WBO, like some type of WBO. It's another like one of those WBO second tier titles. So he's fought for both of those titles that bumped him up to being ranked number 1. And you've had 2 title fights you turned down. So I see what even though I see what you said, he ain't had no amateur fights. But if that's the case, then don't be fighting for these little second tier fights that's moving you up in the ranking systems to not fight somebody.
I feel you on that, but if he ain't ready, he ain't ready. I ain't gonna force him if he ain't had no amateur fight. I mean, if he ain't ready, I understand what you're saying, not taking it. But if he ain't ready, he ain't ready. But by the time he be ready, he gonna be a cruiserweight. He too big anyway. You know what I'm saying? I've been saying he should have fought Kovalev, and he should at least got Marcus. We should at least go for Marcus Brown next, man. Seriously, he should at least go for that next. But at the end of the day, man, if he want to take his time, the world ain't gonna stop spinning for Anthony Yard. No way. The world will not stop spinning, man.
If he he fights Marcus Brown, that'll be an eliminator. I guarantee it.
Yeah, that's why I said that.
Yeah.
That's why I said that.
yeah. That would put him even further in position to fight for a title. Then you see,
And then I think that I say that it'll be a gauge. Then you'll be like, or if he struggle with Brown or whatever it may be, then you could be like, you know what, man, we barely beat him. Yeah, or if we dominate him, okay, maybe we ready. But it don't matter. He don't want no smoke with Alvarez. I was one of the few only people that told people Alvarez was gonna beat Kovalev.
I did too.
Crazy. I was very few. I seen that dude jab and he with the move, how he was moving. I said, man, he gonna beat Kovalev up with that big ass head too. I said, he with the size of that head, he had to be able to take some of the punishment, man. But to get back to the topic, man. Also, man, a lot of the guys that y'all naming is irrelevant weight classes according to casuals. Casuals make pay-per-view stars. I remember one guy told me, he told me, I was like, yeah, man, I'll be watching 35 this years ago, 35-pound division, 26, it's on fire. He said, them little motherfuckers don't be hurting each other. That's why, casuals don't watch it, though. But it's like that 118-pound tournament with Tite Inouye, Ryan Burnett, old boy that got the 4 fights from Russia and 2 split decisions, all versus Argentina fighters. Man, that's something I will buy. I'm contemplating on buying the zone just for that part of it, to be honestly. Because that tournament is worth it, though. But also cruiserweight. Most Americans look at cruiserweight and say, man, why you just ain't that heavyweight? So usually going to have his opportunity to be a star, I believe. Especially he supposed to be fighting Andre Ward before losing the division. Right. James Prince told my boy that it's a good chance that Andre Ward going to come back. Now, Angus Timov came out and said that they're hearing Andre Ward going to come back. So that's going to give him a little bit of traction. He had a good fight with Michael Hunter, too. People don't talk about that fight. That fight with Michael Hunter, that was an excellent fight on HBO. He needed to do more fights like that, but he hopped in a tournament. They didn't have a US TV deal. But I got one name that I'm going to tell you is going to be a pay-per-view star probably, and that's the youngest promoter in boxing history right now. That's Devin Haney. I think the way they're going to move him and the way he's going to move and the way they're going to do things, I think he got the best shot of doing it. But if you talk about just contenders and the usual suspect, if Earl can get Terrence in the ring, good. But what if Earl actually does move up and fight Canelo Alvarez in a fight and somehow beats Canelo Alvarez and he beats Mikey Garcia coming off a pay-per-view and fight Canelo? That's another quick route to doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I see a few routes to doing it. Ramirez, you think Gilberto Ramirez would be a pay-per-view star as well too? Being the first Mexican super middleweight champion, and with Bob Arum, giving him that push. But ultimately, he just didn't turn out to have the skills to pay the bills, man. I think Bob Arum put him in so much lackluster competition that his skills just wasn't being challenged. So I think he's done as a fighter, as far as a top tier fighter. He's done now. Woo. I think he's done as being a top tier fighter, man. He's done. That he had his opportunity. They just wasn't challenging him. It's like having a smart kid in class. He keep doing dumb shit because he ain't being challenged. He wasn't challenged. So I think that shit was passed for him as well. So I like Devin Haney, and if I had to have a secondary type of guy, Earl Spence in that scenario, man. That's a tough scenario. But Earl Spence in that scenario, and the backing that he getting from Texas and the backing that he getting from New York, I think in that scenario, it'll probably be them, Devin Haney or Earl Spence. I think it'll be them two guys. But anybody from Bob's stable, if he get back to old Bob and really building these guys up, but, I just see them two probably being the most likely candidates.
The problem with Bob is focused on the ESPN Plus. So he's not even looking at pay-per-view no more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually had 2 pay-per-views scheduled this year, man. And obviously Pacquiao done filed the paperwork. The second one, I don't know what it was gonna be. So yeah, he focused on ESPN Plus. I ain't gonna lie, I fuck with it though, man. I don't fuck with it for the top rank fights. I mess with it for the additional content.
All right, man. This is a topic because my boy CJ mentioned this. We was on the live stream last night. I want to get y'all thoughts. I already know his thoughts. Errol Spence, this guy is feared by most in his division, some around the division. Do y'all feel like he should get that fear factor that Mike Tyson got? Because my boy CJ, he feels that he's getting that treatment, not because we think he like that. You know what I'm saying? That's his opinion, but these fighters.
Let me explain my opinion real quick when you're done.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead and do it.
Man, this hype shouldn't even approach Paul Williams' fearful hype, man. This dude shouldn't even be the Paul Williams fearful mind. This dude has exceeded Mike Tyson hype, dog. You got people, daddies arguing with people, calling fans broke. You got, you got other people saying that, Eddie Hearn gonna give me $10 million to fight. You got Keith Thurman, dog, who legitimately went over to another country, got drunk, met a girl that worked at her family bar, and just did act like boxing don't exist no more, man. These dudes is retiring. Sean Porter talking about his day, talking about, I'll retire him if they don't put him and Errol Spence on pay-per-view if the money ain't right. You got Danny Garcia, you know, he trying to start, so he talking about I'm 50, I want a 54, or give me $10 million. Like, dude, like, it ain't even, I like Earl, I love Earl. But man, this dude ain't nothing like Paul Williams was at 147. This nigga was 6 feet, you know, with Pacquiao, them little dudes around him. He had to move up a few weight classes. I mean, I don't even think this fear is probably on par with Sergio Martinez was at 54. Because y'all remember Floyd wasn't trying to fight him. Canelo wasn't trying to fight him. So he moved up and fought Pavlik and beat Pavlik, then beat up Paul Williams. So you look at this situation, man, his hype is just ignorant at this point, dog. He shouldn't have made it this far without nobody testing his gangster. I understand Kell Brook did what he did. But, bro, he shouldn't be this feared, man. They making this man something that he shouldn't even be right now, man. Is it that bad or am I tripping?
You know where it started? It started, first of all, with him giving Floyd Mayweather a little bit of that business in that sparring session. And then after that, he knocks out Adrian Broner in the sparring session. That's where it started. So that his fucking reputation came from that alone. Then we actually seen him dismantling niggas in the ring in a professional fight. You know what I'm saying? In front of on Showtime and all these different networks and shit in front of all these millions of people. That's what happened. If he had never had that particular reputation with Floyd Mayweather beating him in sparring and beating Adrian Broner in sparring, he wouldn't be feared the way he is right now, guaranteed.
Bro, go ahead.
Well, I think something else you have to take in consideration is outside of what 2K is saying, the language of everybody when his name comes up. You had Sean Porter say, "Oh, you know, if you go back 3 years ago, I wasn't talking about Errol Spence Jr." That's not what you should be saying. Doing it, you know, Danny Garcia. When it comes to Danny Garcia, you know, he kind of stumbles around it a little bit. He'll answer, but he kind of stumbles around it a little bit. Then, of course, Keith Thurman was not on my to-do list. It's just not on my to-do list right now, right? So when you're looking at the top guys who are saying that, and then remember when Floyd Mayweather retired, he said, well, what I want is I want either Thurman or Porter to fight Earl for one of my vacant titles. And they was like, oh, who Floyd think he is? You know, he body. Right, yeah, he ain't, yeah, who he think he is? He ain't no. So outside of what 2K is talking about, you know, the gym reputation, because I mean, let's just keep it a buck and be honest. If you have ever fought in amateurs, or if you ever have, you know, went gym to gym, everybody had a gym reputation. And that actually, when you go to the gym and you wanted a good workout, you would look for that dude that had that gym reputation to get in the ring with him, right? So, you know, he has that gym reputation. And then outside of that, you look at how guys is talking. Then you look at how Errol Spence, on a consistent basis, regardless of what level of competition, had left bodies in his wake. I mean, even in his step-up fight, he has left bodies in his wake.
But to his point, should it be to the Tyson level or the Paul Williams level? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's to the Tyson level. I don't know who said that, but it's nowhere near that. I mean, I think it's a lot of young niggas out here that don't really remember what kind of hype or what kind of fear Tyson put in the boxing. It's definitely.
Hey, 2K. I say it's because of that level, because dude, people still fought Tyson. It might be the difference of men, because more of these dudes are more feminized now. You probably can agree with me on that. But dudes still fought Mike Tyson in the street. They still fought him. They cried in the locker room, still came out and took their medicine. Maybe it's more the grade of men out here, or males out here, and maybe that's why it is.
Wait a minute. I definitely agree with that sentiment. You know, I've done a video on how the emasculation of the male is the forward agenda of today. But the reason why I say it's not like Mike Tyson is because motherfuckers were saying Mike Tyson is the most powerful man in the world. They were saying that about him. He could beat up. Motherfuckers are saying stupid shit like Mike Tyson got in the ring with Incredible Hulk, man. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And it was mainly because of the way he looked and how he was killing motherfuckers in the ring, and just the fact that people were scared, like, you know, Michael Spinks and Trevor Berbick, they were scared before they even got in the ring with him. Shit, Michael Spinks retired after being knocked out by Mike Tyson, right? So that's what it really was. And even if you said that Mike Tyson didn't want to fight somebody, and you know, Bo knows who I'm talking about, that guy that you know, Muhammad Ali did the rope-a-dope on. When we talk about how Mike Tyson didn't want to fight him, motherfuckers immediately want to fight you. Oh, hell no. What the fuck you talking about? Mike Tyson was the most feared man on the planet in all the entire galaxy. They don't talk about Errol Spence like that, man. So that's what I'm saying. It's nowhere near that kind of fear.
But the premise is this, though, about that, before I let Bo go. The premise was, like, they won't even get in the ring. At least these dudes got in the ring with them. But like we agreed on, I think it's the greater men out here, man. A lot of these dudes just cowards.
Well, okay, and this is where I'm gonna come in at. It's not so much as just the greater men, the money. Don King would pay you to take that risk to get in there with Tyson because he had the money to do it. He knew the kind of money Tyson would generate. So he'd be like, "Yo, what'd you say?"
Bruce Seldon.
Yeah, right. So he would sit there and say, "Look, how much would it take for you to get in the ring with Tyson? $5 million. Give him 5 because I'm gonna make 30 off this fight."
I wish I could go back there and fight that nigga then.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
He was really doing that shit though. He's not lying. He was.
I believe it. That's what I said. I said what I said. I was
right. And you don't. And the problem that you have is you don't have that with Earl Spence. You don't have that with Earl Spence. You can't sit down and say, how much money would it take for you to get in the ring with Earl Spence? Oh man, $2 million. Fuck out of here. Next, okay, you know, and that's just, you don't have that. So, and then here's another thing. I don't believe it's at that level because you have lower, outside of some of the top names we name, you got lower tier guys. Danny Garcia is talking about coming up to fight him. I mean, Mikey Garcia is coming up to fight him. Ugas. Demont Peterson got in the ring with him, right? So during the Tyson era, wasn't none of them second tier guys talking about fighting him. The only reason why it was because, again, the money factor was there. So I definitely go ahead. I hear what you're saying.
Good point. You clarified that perfect. That was a totally different perspective that we didn't have on there, and that makes sense. The risk don't match the reward.
You got cats like Yordenis Ugas calling Errol Spence out and shit, man. Like, nah, man. Tyson didn't have that.
Because fighting Errol Spence to get him $250,000.
But let me ask y'all a question though. Maybe y'all can't answer it because Mikey Garcia is the name that keeps coming up because he's the only one that seemingly let his nuts drop, so he want to fight, you know, Errol Spence. What is it? I mean, would you say Mikey? If you place Mikey Garcia in the welterweight division right now, skill for skill, what would you put him at? Just skill for skill.
Skill for skill, he's at the top. But when we put in everything else,
yeah. See, that going to my next question. Then, why is he willing to do it? And the guys that are naturally bigger than him and not that far off on skill aren't. I mean, is it just the mentality alone, or what is it? I mean, at some point, you got to start calling these guys what they are. You know what I'm saying?
First, I'm gonna say it again to you: money. Mikey Garcia will get his highest payday if he fights Earl Spence. It's a payday he's not going to see at the lower weight division.
But Bo, that just seemed like it's just cut and dry. I don't just think it's just money. Of course it's money, but for you to know that you could potentially get permanently harmed in a fight, money ain't everything. Money can't make you walk again. Money can't, make you see again. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's multiple things. Number one, I think Mikey Garcia sees some of the same flaws that I see in Errol Spence, and for some reason he believes he can exploit them, which if we're just talking skill for skill, brain for brain, yes, he can. But, the fact that, he moved up to 140 and, he had a fat ass stomach at 140, let alone what he would look like at 147. I don't think he would have the proper conditioning, nor he'd have the body to be able to contend at 147. But, I mean, that's either here nor there. The point is that he sees something that he believes he can exploit. And I think the second thing is you got to understand Mikey Garcia does a lot of calling out of a lot of different people, man. He might not even be realistic about fighting in Errol Spence if push comes to shove and they go to the fucking table. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true too.
That's another thing we got to consider.
Yeah, he number one in clout chasing, dog. Name dropping for years. He number one.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Erislanada.
Erislanada
number one.
True. Yeah. Okay,
I don't know, man, because Mikey Garcia. Remember, Mikey was name dropping the shit out of fucking Yuri Ortiz Gamboa for a minute and kept ducking and dodging. That's the only fighter I'll say Mikey ducked in his career was Yuri.
That's why he was put on the book. Wonder why he put on the shelf by Bob Arum, or was it because he didn't want to fight Crawford? It was somebody.
No, it was Gamboa. It was Gamboa.
Yeah, it had to do with the Gamboa situation.
But the thing about the Gamboa situation is if he fought, he was the only fight they was offering. He would fight Gamboa, sign a contract extension, or go put it on the shelf.
They were doing to him. Bob Arum was doing to him what Oscar De La Hoya was trying to do with Miguel Cotto and Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? But the only difference is that he was already signed with Bob Arum. So it was basically like, hey, you can get Gamboa, but you're going to have to sign this contract. It's just like my man.
Yeah, that was a trick that Bob used. That was the reason why Chavez Jr. and Gennady Golovkin fight fell through.
Well,
he wanted Chavez, who already had a year left on his contract, to sign an extension to pay him a certain amount of money. And
that's how he got Tim Bradley to re-sign with him with that second backyard fight.
Cool, Bradley.
Yeah. Well, that's an old promoter's trick, man. You know, Oscar De La Hoya was doing that shit to Mikey Garcia too with Miguel Cotto. You dangle a motherfucker in front of him and say, "Hey, bro," while he's reaching, you yank that shit back and be like, "Sign this contract extension, dog, first."
He do. Bob Arum do that all the time, bro. He do that with every fighter that try to. And if you don't, on your last fight, if you don't take that contract, he'll shelf you.
Sure.
Well, wait a minute, not just shelf you, he'll block you out. Think about this, man. He got rights to Joseph Parker. Why? Because he had to fight Andy Ruiz. So he said, "Well, check this out. You want this Ruiz fight? It's a vacant title. So in order for your dude to get in, because we both know when it comes to this game, I'm bigger than you. I got to get some percentage on there because if my guy lose, I got to make sure I'm still making money." He did the same thing Isaac Dogboy when he fought Magdaleno. Okay, look.
Oscar did with Jaime Muguel.
Yeah, hey, look, if y'all want this fight, I got to have some rights, baby. And it's an old promoter's trick. I'm not mad at him, but it's an old promoter's trick. But, something else we also have to look at too, man, is, like I said, listen, Mikey, unlike the other guys we named, which is Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, and Danny Garcia, like my man said, from a ring IQ standpoint, Mikey Garcia's ring IQ is higher than theirs. So he may act, like my man was saying, be looking at Errol Spence like, man, from a ring IQ standpoint, I'm fighting guys like Robert Easton Jr., who's tall and longer than me. I'm still able to do my thing. I'm fighting, the Adrian Broners. Man, I see something where my IQ, now the question is, can my body do it? But my IQ is just high enough to where I figure, hey, you know what? I might be able to get in there with this guy and do something to him. And that's something else we have to keep in mind, man. Mikey ring IQ is a lot higher than those other guys we named.
I see that, but every time I close my eyes and picture this fight, I just see goddamn Errol Spence just palming over this motherfucker. It don't even matter. You know what I'm saying? I just see him. Yeah, it's gonna get ugly, bro.
I need to see Mikey Garcia at 147
first.
At least one fight, man, because I need to see how he moves. Because I didn't like the way he was moving against Sergey Limpnuts. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? Let me take that back, man. Limpnuts. Let me say his name right, dog. He's earned my respect. So, I don't like the way he moved in that fight. I'm gonna need him to go to 147. I need to see what his body looks like. Roberto Garcia was like, "Hey, man, he don't do no core work." He admitted to that. This is the first fight he's actually done. I've seen him do a sit-up in, for the Robert Easter Jr. fight. Bruh, that's not going to help you if you're gaining all this weight to go to 147, and then you're fighting a guy who is probably one of the best prolific punchers besides Canelo Alvarez in the game right now. So, nah, man. I don't like
talking about potato salad? That's what Blu-ray. That's what Earl Spence strength and conditioning coach called him, potato salad.
Yeah.
He said he ain't never did no strength and conditioning at all until that fight.
That's what he said.
No, it was sit-ups. He said Mikey don't do sit-ups.
No, he said strength.
Well, whatever it was, or whatever it is, Mikey Garcia gonna have to get that shit rectified if he expects to be competitive against Errol Spence if the fight happened. But yeah, I agree with you too, K. He probably should have said, you know what, I want Errol Spence after I get one fight at welterweight, because if he come out with that shit now, they gonna like, this nigga clout chasing again. That nigga was just talking, so he can't take nothing he say serious. But hopefully he exploits some type of flow and Spence. So go ahead.
My bad. I need TBC to come back, man, because I want to talk to him about that whole Gilberto Ramirez assessment that he had. You know what I'm saying? I was like, hold up. There he is.
Hey, he want to. Hey, 2K want to chop it up a little more.
Hold on, 2K. Before you do that, is this the same TBC that be on Instagram with them crazy ass meme posts?
Yeah. That's my boy. Yeah.
Hey man, TBC, tell me how you feel about Gilberto Ramirez again, man.
No, that's why I said that's what I used to think, man. I thought, man, being the first Mexican super middleweight champion, with Bob Arum behind, you would think that he would have, he had the skill. Like he had the skill at first. I think, when he wasn't fighting no good competition, he deteriorated. His skills just wasn't being challenged no more, man. No way Jesse Hart should have competed with him like that. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man.
Well, 168 ain't got nobody. I can't say the man is done. He's actually one of the better boxers in the sport right now, man. But
I think he's done, man.
The thing is, there's a possibility he might not be the best 168 pounder. I mean, David Benavidez, who's younger and can do almost everything he can, and he has an inside game where Gilberto Ramirez doesn't have an inside game. He's a little bit better. So that if David,
what you think about? Let me ask you a question. What you think about him versus Jose Utagi?
Benavidez or Gilberto?
No. Ramirez.
Ramirez is going to have a good chance to beat him because Uzcategui doesn't do well with boxers. Now, this is the thing. Uzcategui is very smart, though. I think his.
Hold on, 2K. Andre Darrell just texted me and said, "You're a damn lie."
What? About what?
He said he don't do good with boxers. It's a joke because Darrell a boxer and shit like that.
Tell Andre Darrell's ass that I told him not to be sitting in that pocket. He ain't listened to me. I told him not to sit in that pocket, to use more lateral movement and box from the outside. My man stayed within range. He was at mid-range distance. That's exactly where Jose Uzcategui wants you to be. So he didn't fight the right game plan. Twice.
Go ahead. I had to throw that joke in there.
Twice. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but yeah, if you box Uzcategui and stay on the fucking outside like you're supposed to, he has trouble with that. You know what I'm saying? Now Uzcategui is a quintessential boxer puncher. He uses that jab to get a little bit on the inside. When he gets on that inside, that's where he wants to throw a lot of the hard power shots, or at least mid-range distance, not inside. But Gilberto Ramirez he's probably one of the best fighters in boxing at being able to keep the pace from the outside and judging distance. He's one of the best at doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's an excellent fight. I think he has a great opportunity to win that fight. Now, I can't tell you who wins right now. I got to look at, if that fight were to get named or announced, I'd have to look at some training camp footage. I'd have to look at, how the fighters are faring, in their 12-week training camp. But as far as right now, Gilberto Ramirez has an excellent shot to win that fight, man. But I believe if David Benavidez was not in that division, Gilberto Ramirez would most definitely be the top motherfucker that everybody's talking about at 168. But then again, you got to look at the division is very slim. We just had fucking Caleb Truax as a champion there. You know what I'm
saying? Get off my boy Caleb, man.
The Minnesota man
out here in these streets.
Hey man, look, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I like the division, man. I think it got a lot of potential depth in it, but right now it is top heavy. So if Golovkin beat Canelo, he'd be up there trying to fight James DeGale, a belt dropper. He'd be up there trying to fight him, though, man. So it'll get interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. Shit, James DeGale might lose to Rocky Fielding. That's who he's fighting next. He about to lose.
Hell yeah, he could lose to that motherfucker, man. Rocky Fielding he probably can lose to John Ryder too, man. He done.
Yeah, exactly.
He done. All that partying, that drinking that he be doing, all that same shit that's gonna catch up with Tank, that's already caught up with Broner. All these dudes that be drinking, getting 20, 30, 40 pounds above weight, it's gonna catch up with all of them.
Well,
David Haye caught up with him.
I think another thing with James DeGale was what you have to understand too is James DeGale was always a front runner fighter. He's good for the first 5-6 rounds. After that, he's downhill, and that goes into, and me and 2K always say this, James DeGale always had that amateur style energy, which is he never learned how to adapt to the pro style of calming down, relaxing, pacing yourself. He always has that nervous, like if you look at Terrence Crawford and you mentioned Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence, them dudes are always relaxed. That's why they can go them 12 rounds and not have no issues. DeGale, he always seems to have that nervous energy, and which causes stamina issues. So, and then you cope in the fact the wars that he's had barely went in the fight. Porky Medina, hell, even the one with Darrell. He knocked Darrell down twice, and if it wasn't for the second knockdown, that fight could have ended in a draw, right? And of course, Badu Jack just really demolished the shit out of him. You know what I'm saying? So, but I hope James DeGale's not done. I got to find that sister.
He done, fam.
I hope he's not done. I like seeing his sister. I don't care what y'all.
I like seeing him too.
You ain't gonna see it, y'all. Jarrell love his sister. He ain't gonna see it no more though, man. That's it, man. As soon as Rocky fell and put him on his ass, that's it. His sister gone, fam. So, go ahead and save your favorite picture, nigga.
Better go follow on Instagram. Shit,
hey man, don't be playing jokes on me like that, Big Cool. You got contacts, nigga. That text could have actually happened, nigga.
Nah, dog. You know what's funny was I was about to be like, well, you know what? Tell him come on. Let's make this hot. You got to get the voice moment on around here.
Andre knows what's up, man. Shit, we done interviewed him how many times? 5, 6 times.
He a cool ass motherfucker. He take criticism well, so shit.
Absolutely.
We'll be talking to him.
Hey, I went out to the Golovkin fight and Danny Jacobs fight. I was on the same fight as his brother. That motherfucker act like I'm about to rob his ass or some shit, man. I was like, man, I don't even want to ask you no questions, man. You think out here, you a fighter? You out here? I'm like, I didn't know what was going on with him, dog. We done ran each other. We done ran into each other at Foot Locker. No, we was out. Anthony.
Man, fuck Anthony, man. Bro, I called him motherfucker trying to set up an interview. I told Bo and 2K about this. Them motherfucker act like I'm the fucking FBI calling, trying to, get this nigga or something. He said, yeah, who's this? I said, whatever. Oh, I ain't doing no interviews right now. Sorry, I ain't never called your ass again. If I want, like Terrence Crawford said, the only Darrell that matters is Andre. It don't matter if that nigga ain't a champion or not.
Yeah, we had some pretty bad interviews with a couple of fighters out there, man. We ain't gonna put the blacklist out there on live like that, but we got a blacklist. You know, we're not gonna be contacting these fighters, not these particular ones.
Yeah, no, close.
No doubt.
But you know how these fighters get. That's all we gonna say.
Yeah, man. The last one we had, bro. That shit.
Oh yeah, you done? I'm done. All right, cool.
I'm done, man. I got nothing to say. I see this motherfucker. It might be something.
We're not there and lost like a straight sucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who y'all talking about? Who y'all talking about? I never do. I know who this fighter is?
Yeah, you don't listen. We ain't talking about it off here.
I know y'all talking about Mary Mom. Y'all talking about Tavon's cousin.
This nigga right here, cuz.
Y'all talking about Tavon's cousin. He's the future of the division. I'm telling you, that dude is the best.
young master, young wankster.
Drunk master, whatever. Yeah, young master. Okay, I'm getting them confused with Emmanuel Augustus, but yeah, me and CJ knew our homie. He was a big Amir Mon fan, bro. He thought he was the future, but
I never seen what he saw in that guy.
Nah, man, that was easy work, man. That was an easy assessment from day one. Like, man, he'd make it as far as contendership. That's it.
Well, man, we're gonna wrap this shit up. Give me, pardon takes. Tell them where they can check y'all out at, and for all the extra good shit. Whoever, Bo, the elder statesman.
Go ahead, TBC, because you the outlaw on here.
hey man, y'all gotta do. Listen, man, he got this thing. He got this.
Me and CJ go way back, man.
Dude, he got this coon alert thing on Instagram, man. The shit is wild.
Yeah, nigga funny. Yeah, he be. He the one.
He got your boy Low Place on there. He got your boy Low Place on there, man.
He got Kenny Porter mad at him and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? For talking shit about Sean calling him Booster or whoever fuck it is.
Oh man, dog, it'd be wild. He be
nigga told me you broke, man.
Roger from
What's Happening?
What's Happening is not dead. He coaching.
That motherfucker tell that nigga say you broke, man. Come down and get a floor ticket to watch Sean and Sean. And then ask me, Mr. Porter. I said, I ain't gonna ask you, Mr. Porter, nothing, dog. I said, man, I'm not playing no floor ticket for a WWE fullback match.
Somebody breaking up. Somebody using that the dialogue, the call and shit. But no, tell them where they can reach y'all at, man.
All right.
I had to boot you. All right.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, 2K.
Well, I mean, we're gonna go out on as a collective, man. All that matters is 3kingboxing.com. Go ahead and go there and get the latest and greatest. Of course, y'all know me from Project Boxing Talk, but that's what we're working right now is mainly 3kingboxing.com.
Yes. I write for him. Bo write for him. You know, 2K the owner. He write, edit, all that, man. So shout out to everybody that's in the movement that is moving with us. And to next time, man. Shout out to my homie, CJ from the Boxing Clinic and more. Make sure y'all check him out.
Definitely. Shout out to him, man. He got a lot of knowledge, man. I never talked to him, so shout out to him. I usually don't talk boxing with niggas.
Hey, mute yourself too, CJ. Yeah, all right, go ahead, 2K. My bad, man.
No, I was gonna say y'all know I don't usually come out of my crawl space to talk to cats that I don't know. So, but yeah, he know his shit, real talk. So shout out to him.
Also, be on the lookout for 3 Kings Boxing is now the official news consultant for the Round for Round video game. So be on the lookout for that.
Absolutely.
Exactly. CJ, go ahead and get your party shots, man. We're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, my bad, man. I had walked away from my phone. But shout out to all y'all on here. I watch all y'all videos, man.
Oh, word up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I might not always comment, but I be on the move a lot of the time. But shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to Big Cool, man. We've been down for years. Y'all know you can find me at the Boxing Clinic and more, YouTube. That's with the & sign THA, Boxing with the & sign more. The Boxing Clinic 313 on Instagram, and just go to my YouTube and see all my social media there. Y'all know what it is. Appreciate everybody for being on here. Anytime y'all want to come on or I come on to y'all stuff, just hit me up, man. DM me. I definitely appreciate it.
Word up.
All right, man. We out this bitch. Peace.